Hey there, today we're going to be talking about solving proportions. Proportions are something that will come up a lot when we're going through different geometry problems this year, but for now we're going to just focus on solving them. If you had Algebra 1 last year, definitely had it with me. We did some of this a couple points in the year, but this will be definitely a good recap. The steps that you take in general are cross multiplying, which I'll explain more in a minute. After that, you distribute or simplify anything you can, and then from there you solve the equation. At this point in time, it's going to look like a regular equation that we've solved before, so it should be pretty easy. So proportions always look like this, where you have two fractions that are set equal to each other. Because they are set equal to each other, we can use this little cross multiplying trick I kind of mentioned in passing. I'm just going to dive right into this first problem. Cross multiplying means multiply this top number or variable, what it is, by the one kind of diagonally across from it, the bottom one here. So I'm going to do 9 times m, and then I like to use a different color. On the other side, same idea. It doesn't matter if I think bottom to top or top to bottom, I need to do the other two things multiplied together, equals 7 times 4. From here, let's simplify whatever we can. 9 times m is the same as 9m, 7 times 4 is 28. And then we want to solve completely. Remember, the goal is to get your letter x and whatever it is by itself. Since that's 9 times m, I need to divide by 9 to cancel that 9 in front. M equals 28 divided by 9 does not divide evenly. We're going to round this. I'd like you to round to 2 decimal places. When you round that, you should get 3.11. So you are going to end up with some decimal answers here, and that's perfectly fine. Feel free to use Desmos, for instance, to help you with 28 divided by 9 or any other calculations you need help with. Let's try some more. So I'm going to do 7 times 10, and then I'm going to multiply the other part together, 5 times a. Moving on from here, 7 times 10 is 70. 5 times a is the same as 5a. And then we want to get a by itself. To get rid of 5 in front, or 5 times, we need to divide. So our final answer here is going to be 14 for a. So sometimes decimal answers, sometimes integer answers. Either way, we're good to go. These next two look a little bit different, just because notice that everything here, one term, one term, one term, one term, whereas here we have something with 2 terms. You will eventually need to distribute in those cases. What I like to do is I like to put anything that's in 2 terms in parentheses so I don't forget. So let's do our cross multiplying. I have to do 9 times all of this. So I'm just going to write 9 parentheses m minus 3 on one side. And then do my other cross multiplying, 4 times 6. Doing my multiplication there, I need to distribute on this side. 9 times m is 9m. 9 times negative 3 is negative 27. 4 times 6 is 24. It'll be more than one step to get m by itself. Remember, usually we get rid of addition or subtraction, then we get rid of multiplication or division. So undo minus 27, I'm going to add 27. When I do that, these cancel, that's what I want. I get 9m equals 51. And then to finish that off completely, I need to divide both sides by 9. When I do that, I get m equals 5.67, again, round to 2 decimal places. Let's try another one. Once again, I have more than one term, so I'm going to put that thing in parentheses so I don't forget. I'm thinking x minus 6 times 3, which you can write like I said, x minus 6 times 3, or remember that multiplication is commutative, you can switch the order. 3 times x minus 6 means the same thing. This is usually how we see things written, so that's how I like to write them. As long as you remember to distribute, that doesn't really matter what you do. Now I multiply here, 7 times 5. And before I get carried away, you are welcome to just, like, if you know 4 times 6 right away, go ahead and just write that as 24. If you know 7 times 5 is 35, feel free skipping this and just make it 35 right away. Up to you. Let's distribute. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times negative 6 is negative 18. 7 times 5 is 35. Now I solve the equation I'm left with. Need to undo minus 18 by adding 18. These cancel. 35 plus 18 is 53. And then we're going to divide. When you do that, once again, you're going to get decimal, and that's perfectly fine. You should get 53 divided by 3 is 17.67. We'll try a few more. Really, nothing is going to be too different for the rest of these. I just want to make sure we get lots of practice, because we will come back to this quite a bit when we get into more regular geometry stuff. I know lately we've just been doing some algebra review. Last four that we're going to look at don't really look too much different. The only thing you might notice is that you just see more of whatever your variable is, but we're going to follow the same process. Cross multiply, distribute and simplify whatever you need to, then solve your equation. So let's just jump right into it. Here I have 6 times k, which is just 6k. On the other side, once again, I have 2 terms, so I'm going to put that in parentheses so I remember to do that. 10 times that whole parentheses stuff, k minus 8. This side, 6 times k, 6k, that's already taken care of, nothing to really do there. When I distribute, I get 10k, and then 10 times negative 8 is negative 80. Here's where the solving is a little different than what we looked at in the past. We have k's on both sides. We've done this with equations before. Remember, your goal is to get all of your variable stuff on one side of the equation, all of your number stuff on the other side of the equation. Since my only number term I see is here, that means I need all my k's to go to the other side. To undo positive 10k, I'm going to subtract 10k. 6 minus 10k is negative 4k, and then negative 80 on the other side stays the same. Last but not least, we are going to divide by negative 4, the number in front of k, and I get k equals 20 when I do that. The rest of these are going to work pretty similarly, just more practice. So with this one, I'm going to go ahead and put that in parentheses so I don't forget. K minus 2 times 5 is the same as 5 times k minus 2. You can switch the order for whatever makes sense for your brain. On the other side of the equal sign, we have 4 times k, or 4k. Now let's distribute. 5 times k is 5k. 5 times negative 2 is negative 10. 4k stays the same. Just like in the last problem, I want my k stuff on one side, number stuff on the other. Since my only number term is on this side of the equal sign, it means all my k's need to end up over here. I'm going to undo positive 5k by subtracting it. Cancel, cancel. Negative 10 equals 4 minus 5 is negative 1k. We're almost done. One more quick thing. We can't just ignore this because it's a negative 1. To undo negative 1 in front or negative 1 times something, we need to divide by negative 1. Negative 10 divided by negative 1 is positive 10 for k. Only thing that's a little different about these last two is we see things with 2 terms in there in 2 different places, but we're going to still follow the same steps. I like to put things in parentheses so I don't forget. I need to do 4 times x minus 3. And then on the other side, 9 times x minus 5. Now we distribute. 4 times x is 4x. 4 times negative 3 is negative 12. 9 times x is 9x. 9 times negative 5 is negative 45. From here, there are 4 correct things you could do as your next step. What you want is all of your x things on one side, all of your number things on the other side of the equal sign. I'm just going to pick the way that I think would like best. What I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 4x from both sides to start by getting my x's together. If I subtract 4x, I'm going to end up with a positive number in front of x, which is why I picked that. 4x minus 4x, that cancels. I get negative 12 equals 9 minus 4x is 5x minus 45. Now I need to undo minus 45 by adding 45. Negative 12 plus 45 is 33. And then last but not least, we're going to divide by the number in front of x. I'm going to get x equals 6.6. One last one. Same idea, just more practice. 10 times x minus 3 equals, cross multiplying the other part, 8 times x minus 2. If when you do these on your own, you flip-flop and write your equations the other way around, like this is on the left-hand side and the green stuff's on the right-hand side, that's perfectly fine. As long as you do your cross multiplying correctly, it doesn't matter what's on what side of the equal sign. Just a quick little note there. Let's do some distributing. 10 times x is 10x. 10 times negative 3 is negative 30. 8 times x is 8x. 8 times negative 2 is negative 16. Again, from here, you can choose to move your x's first. You can either subtract 10x from both sides or subtract 8x from both sides. I'm going to pick subtracting 8x, but if you worked ahead and did it the other way, as long as you get the same final answer, you're good. 10 minus 8x is 2x. We need to undo minus 30 by adding 30. Negative 16 plus 30 is positive 14. And then we divide. Divide by 2. 14 divided by 2 is 7. So x equals 7. I hope that helps you out, and I hope you have a great day.